Go ahead and dive into this thing. So we're going to start like we always do, going over some market stats. Of course, the graphics were sent out to you this morning. So if you haven't checked your email yet, you do have all of these graphics in your email. Feel free to use and distribute as you like. But I wanted to talk really quick, and we're going to go through each market. But oh, whoops, didn't mean to press that button. One of the things that I wanted to kind of focus on with everybody is our inventory numbers are continuing to rise. So the inventory numbers actually for each location is just going up regardless of where you're at. And this is important to note because as we increase inventory, as you all know, we started, depending on location, anywhere from 0 to a month and a half worth of inventory. And inventory, just as a reminder, if you've never heard me talk about this before, inventory is basically if you take all the homes that are actively for sale and then divide that out by how many homes sold, that'll tell you how many months of inventory, meaning that if another listing doesn't hit the market, then how long will it be before we run out of homes to sell? Well, we've been sitting, somewhere around the 2-month inventory or less in the previous years. And now we're starting to see that go up. It's gone up to about 3 months. My guess is, and as we look at some market data and some other stuff, you'll see this too, it's going to continue to rise, which means from when you list a house, more and more competition. So if we break it down to sell side and buy side, sellers, you're going to have more competition. Your house is going to have to be in better condition, more aggressively priced, and even marketed at a higher level in order to get the same results that you get now. From a buyer standpoint, obviously they're going to have a lot more to choose from. So that'll also hurt the seller. Like we're going to eventually shift from a seller's market to a buyer's market. Now, does anybody remember what is considered a balanced market in regards to inventory levels in terms of number of months? 6. Yep. So you can see here, at least in the Owensboro market, and I'll click through the rest of them also, we're at 2.5. So we're just a little bit under 3. Still very much the sellers have the, I guess you could say, negotiating power in today's market. Let's look at Elizabethtown, kind of the same thing. We're seeing inventory go up ever so slightly. So starting the year at 1.87, and the sales were a little bit lower, which drives this up. So really, I like to look at like March, April timeframe. And you can see that in Elizabethtown, we were between 1 and call it 1.25 months worth of inventory. Well, in September, they just crossed over 2. In October, I think I took the screenshot before I did the math on it. They were at like 2.18. The other thing to note in all locations, if you look at our September sales, 427 sales, October was 566. And then looking at the Owensboro market real quick, same thing, 132 sales all the way up to 151 sales. So everything that we've been talking about for the last month is true. I'm not calling myself Nostradamus. I'm just saying once you learn how to read the market, you learn how to predict this stuff and that's what I want to teach you all over time. So if we look at our Evansville market, again, inventory is really short in the Evansville market, continues to be that. One question, I guess, for Evansville, how do they count days on market? Is it from active to pending or is it active to closed? Okay. See if you can find that out for me. Because I just want to start doing apples to apples comparison. And one of the things I was looking at this, I was like, I feel like based on their inventory levels, this is active to close, being average days on market of 51. However, like when we look at Henderson kind of same thing. Like they're not closing in 25 days. It's just not happening unless they're doing active to pending. So I'm going to start adding under contract days to this just so we see, apples to apples comparison. Yeah, big deal.
What sellers want to know is how long till I go pending.
Right. Yes.
More than anything.
Yeah.
Not how long, because every closing is so different.
Yeah, you might have a club. We've had closings that are 60 days before, so it does make a big difference.
That's just how we set it out.
Yeah. So it could be a number of factors into that. Maybe your sellers don't want to move because they need to wait for a new construction home to get built and stuff like that. So just know based on the location, I think we've been looking at the average days on market probably incorrectly. Oops, didn't mean to flip through that. So we'll make that adjustment. I'm going to reach out to all the MLSs. I'll do that this week and just find out how they're doing it. Just something to note in Henderson again, kind of the theme is October is better than September. So 22 sales in September, 31 sales to wrap up in October. Looking at Louisville, even Louisville was slightly better, going from 1,176 sales up to 1,185 sales. And their inventory continues to rise as well, crossing over the 3-month mark for the month of October also. So again, the recurring theme is, October was a good month. Y'all were in here last week and heard me talk. Why was October a better month than September? I'm looking for 2 different reasons. You can't really be wrong in this. So shout something out. Fall break. Yeah. So kind of fall break in August. So what we put under contract in August is closing when? September, right? So what happened in August that could drive down the sales in September? School started, right? New routines, fall sports, all of that fun stuff. Buyers might have pulled back from the market a little bit. Also, what happened in September that led to more October sales? That's kind of when we got that little dip in interest rates, if y'all remember that. So just a couple of ways to kind of look at the market now. So based on that information, what would be your guess at, regardless of market, what's going to happen in November? Is it going to be better or worse than October sales in terms of total homes sold? Worse? Wow, you're right.
Interest rates went back up.
Yep. Yeah, you nailed it. Those are the 2 things. There's so many people. I've talked to a bunch of you all, whether, regardless of which office you're in, everybody I've talked to right now has clients that are waiting until after today to make decisions because they don't know which way it's going to go. The truth is, if you look back historically, is the only thing I'm going to say about the political side of things. If you look back historically, regardless of which party won, interest rates drop and sales increase the months after an election, because a lot of that worry goes away, right? So whether justified or unjustified. So, all right, let's talk mortgage rates. So mortgage rates, last week, fixed rate was sitting right at 7%. FHA and VA, let's call it 6.5, basically. Ever so slightly uptick. I pulled this probably about 7 a.m. this morning, 7.05 for fixed rates, and then just slightly above 6.5 for FHA and VA. What's really interesting in this is there's really no reason for them to continue to go up. And what I mean by that is you can see interest rates. This is pulled from the Fred website. And basically, this is the beginning of October. So again, this is why our October sales were good, because this is the lowest rates we've had in September for quite some time. But ever since October, they've continued to climb. And then actually, so 4 out of the last 5 weeks, interest rates have gone up. So I started digging into this and I'm like, well, I've seen the jobs report. I've seen, the economic data come out, and it really doesn't support rates going back up. And you can see, let me move this little face out of the way here. So you can see the weak jobs and manufacturing reports, under other circumstances might have took pressure off mortgage rates. But that actually had the opposite effect Friday. What that basically means, if I remember correctly, there are only 12,000 new jobs added in the month of October. And when that type of report comes out, then that usually means that the mortgage rates are going to go down. However, they didn't. They basically stayed the same or even crept up a little bit. So then I started looking at the inflation data, and the PCE, which is the price index, came in at 2.1% for the month of September. That's fantastic. Keep in mind that the ultimate goal is for us to be at 2% inflation year over year. This is the lowest level since February of 2021. So, right. So since basically since the pandemic began, this is the lowest level we had. So again, that's all signs that the economy is doing better. Rates should drop, but they're not. And the only thing that we can come up with is 2 things. Number one, there is a Fed meeting basically that starts tomorrow, and data will be released on November the 7th. So in 2 days, we're going to have a Fed meeting. I think that the combination, this is just my personal opinion, I think the combination of the election and the fact that the Fed is about to meet is kind of holding the rates up. So, and the reason that you need to know all of that basically boils into this. Remember the last Fed meeting that we had, and I told you that the rates, like if they did a rate cut, it was already baked into mortgage rates. Well, that's not the case for this Fed meeting because they constantly rise, and everything is saying, and you'll see down the bottom right-hand corner here, everybody believes, I can't remember the percentage, but it's like 90% chance Fed's going to reduce rates by a quarter of a point. Except for this time, that's not pre-baked into mortgage rates. So we should see some relief at the end of the Fed meeting. So if any of your clients get asked, you can tell them, say, hey, based on what I'm seeing inside the economy, I do believe over the course of the next week, we're going to get a slight relief on mortgage rates. Now, will the mortgage rates drop a full quarter of a point? No. We know they're not directly tied in that sense, but they should drop a little bit. And then hopefully post-election, they continue the trend down. What we're looking at right now is basically all the indicators say that there's going to be 2 more rate cuts by the end of the year, and both are going to be a quarter of a point. So you're looking at a 0.5% on the prime rate, which should equate to probably a quarter of a point or more in terms of mortgage rates. So you do have relief coming and relief in sight for all of your clients that are looking. Any questions on that? Okay. Again, everything's unfolding the way we thought it would. We are set up for next year to be a significantly better year than the last 2 years, or 1.5 years have been. About middle of 2023 is when it got a little bit tougher. So everything, and I'll keep you up to date. By next week, obviously, we'll have the Fed data. We'll know what's going to happen, and hopefully we'll see some mortgage rate reductions by then. I think we will. So just a quick reminder, don't forget to go vote if you haven't already. We were talking about this in the beginning, if you stepped on there. The more rural, further out you go, the less time you have to wait. So we sat in line for 2.5 hours in the city today, and then I talked to some people who got in 20 minutes out in the county. So just if you haven't voted yet. Yeah, that's what she was telling us about that. So yeah, so just but please go out and exercise the way you vote, no matter what side you vote for. It doesn't matter to me. Just make sure you exercise your right to vote. And then just so you know, one of the things that I came across this article today, and it talks about housing affordability. Now, that's a big deal for all of us. Obviously, we work in this industry. And of all the people who did early voting, Redfin did a little study, I guess, on it. 38% of those people said housing affordability influenced their vote. However, it was not the biggest issue. And you can see over here on the right-hand side, the economy, it was number 1 at 63%, inflation number 2 at 59%, protecting democracy at 56%, immigration at 55%, healthcare at 52%. Those were basically the things that were ahead of housing. So while housing affordability is a big issue, and while every single one of those things that I just named, with the exception of protecting democracy, has an impact on housing, that's not the number one thing. So just keep that in mind, because we work in this every day. Housing is, probably one of the biggest things for you. Your client might not be thinking the same way. So I just wanted to kind of give you a heads up now that we have some data behind that. And then let's look at, so I'm going to start doing little mini training sessions as part of this. I promise I'll keep them 10 minutes or less to the best of my ability. So we're going to kick that off today. And the first thing is what I call the success triangle. And this is very simply, if you look at starting with the bottom, the mindset, these are the 3 things that it takes to be successful in any endeavor. And it really, I set it up for real estate. So the mindset, you have to believe that you can achieve, which means like you have to believe that you can achieve whatever your goals are. So if your goal is to sell 50 homes next year, do you truly in your heart of hearts believe that that is possible? If not, and it's only 95% possible in your head, you're most likely not going to achieve it. So we need to do some work on getting you to understand why it's able for you to achieve it and the mindset behind that, right? Number 2 is daily energy. Who in here wakes up and has an off day, right? Everybody? Sweet. So I'm good. I'm glad I'm not the only one. We're all going to have those off days. So then what's your morning routine, or like when you wake up in the morning, what's your big why? What's your reminder that, no matter how I'm personally feeling, how am I going to step up and perform at my best today, right? So how do I keep another word for this would be motivation. Right? How do I keep my motivation high regardless? And, there's, if you haven't ever looked at this, there's something called SAVERS, Hal Elrod, if I remember correctly, is the author of Miracle Morning, and he created a acronym called SAVERS that is a combination of a lot of different things, from from praying to exercising to using affirmations to journaling, all these different things. Look that up if you're looking for a morning routine. And he has a book, by the way, Morning Routine for Real Estate Agents, that is fantastic. So check that out. And then number 3 is service to others. You have to understand that you're in this for helping the consumer, not necessarily helping yourself. Now, don't get me wrong. We're all here to make money. Everybody needs money to be able to survive, right? But what I have found in my experience is the less I make it about me and the check, and more I make it about the client, the more that client goes and spreads the word of how great I took care of them, the more business that comes. So understand that. Chase the service and the checks will come, right? Number 2 on the left-hand side is habits. So this is what you're doing every day that will lead to success. Number 1 is time blocking, right? So I'm a big proponent of, if it's not on your calendar, it doesn't exist, right? So if any of you have a goal, whether it be, I'm going to host, let's just use something different than what I normally use. I'm going to host 2 open houses every single weekend. Show me where that's already time blocked off on, so that all you have to do is fill in the house, because no matter what, you have this scheduled. And understand that, like, stuff can, like, so let's say I was going to do open house this weekend, and Brody has a soccer game, right? So that's my Brody. So if he has a soccer game, then obviously I'm not going to miss his soccer game to go to the open house. So I'm going to take that open house. If his soccer game's here and the open house is here, I'm just going to shift it down. Now I'm going to do my open houses from 1 to 4 instead of the time that I initially blocked it off for. But the key is I have it blocked off, so I don't create the excuse of, oh, Brody's got a soccer game, I'll catch up on open houses next weekend, right? I already know I'm going to do 2. The only question is where. Number 2 is consistency, right? This is the tortoise and the hare. Consistently lead generating for 30 minutes a day will create and I'm using a really low time for purpose, but 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, you will significantly outsell the person who lead generates for 2.5 hours in 1 day. Same amount of time. The only difference is every single day you're having conversations, which means you're catching different people at different moments, and that could lead to more real estate related conversations. More real estate related conversations lead to more appointments set. Appointments set lead to showings or listings. Showings and listings lead to under contracts. That leads to ultimately you getting paid, right? So it's consistency. Short bursts of consistency will get you further than long sprints. Okay. And then number 3 is the discipline of actually doing it, right? So when I first started time blocking, I put all kinds of stuff on my calendar, and then I would get busy and I wouldn't follow my calendar, right? If you put it on there, make sure your personal integrity makes you follow it, right? And you have the discipline to follow it, because distancing, what I would say, once you get the time blocking skill down, it's the consistency and discipline of performing it is what's going to ultimately lead to your success. And then the far right-hand side is skill set, script practice. These are in no particular order, by the way. Script practice. So if you want to get better at conversion, meaning you have to go on less appointments in order to make the same amount of money, then the number 1 skill you need is conversation. How do you conversation? How do you objection handle? Things like that. So I would encourage you all to find a script practice partner, somebody that is around your level of sales, so that you don't get intimidated or, they don't feel inferior. And then you partner up and script practice multiple times a week. Even if it's like, hey, what are you saying to your sphere of influence this week? What are you saying to sell owners? What are you saying to expireds? And then practice on each other instead of practicing when there's $5, $10, $15, $20,000 on the line, right? Does that make sense? All right. Number 2 is pricing. As our inventory grows, we're going to have to get better and better at pricing. There's no more of this. If you were around a couple of years ago, throw a number on it and we're still going to get multiple offers and beat it, right? Now the skill set of pricing matters. So I would encourage you all to start running CMAs, even if it's not on listings. Just go pick a random house, run a CMA, and compare what pricing did you get versus whatever that agent priced it for, and then try to understand the difference behind that. Also, the better you get at the skill, the more knowledgeable you'll become around pricing. And that's going to help you with any objection handling when you go on listing appointments as well, because you'll know it inside and out. And then number 3 is marketing. Obviously, if we have to put ourselves out there to the public in order to be able to earn business. So this is twofold. It's marketing of your listings. Yes, that's what most people think about whenever I say marketing, but really it's about marketing you as an agent. And there's numerous different types of marketing. I don't mean just social media, anything like that. You can do billboards. You can door knock as a marketing Contacting your sphere of influence once every quarter is a form of marketing. Whatever gives you energy and whatever you will consistently do and have the discipline to do over and over and over again, that's what you need to do to market your home, right? Or to market yourself, excuse me, not your home. So this is the success triangle: mindset, habits, and skills. If you can master these three things, then you can master real estate and achieve anything that you want to achieve. All right, next, office events. We're doing a change in the training schedule. You'll see that it starts this month in November. It's already been reflected on your calendars, but I just wanted to cover it. Contracts class will remain Wednesdays at 11:30 Central, 12:30 Eastern. Technology training is being moved to Thursday at the same time. So Wednesday and Thursday, 11:30 or 12:30, depending on your time zone. We'll have contracts training, then technology training. Just wanted to let you know, because we were running those back to back, we split those out just so that you're not in as much time. And I'll be honest, it makes it a little bit easier on me. I have less to prepare for in one day. Also, the no shave continues, and it is November. So we're going until November 14th. So if you would like to participate on that or just donate, everything's going to hurricane relief. Last time I had checked, I believe we were at we had at least 10 people in, so we raised over $500 already. It might be closer to 1,000 at this point. I think I owe $50 because I shaved last week, so I forgot we were doing it. So. Yeah, no, I didn't. I did not shave this week. I remembered not to shave. Now that we're in actual November, I think I will remember. So if I look rough over the next couple of weeks, it's just because I'm supporting this cause. That's why. This is true too. This is very, very true. So this contract training class, we've already talked about that. Oh, I am doing listing amendments. Just so you know, tomorrow's all about listing amendments. How do you change something in your listing? What is the proper documentation and being able to do so? And then we're going to cover DocuSign in our technology. Just a reminder, I think most people here don't really use .loop anymore, but in case you're watching the recording or you do use .loop, December 1st is the end of our support for .loop, which means at that point you'll need to convert over to DocuSign, and or you can always have your own personal .loop account. So but just to let you know, December 1st is that date. That's about a month away. So I'm doing 2 DocuSign classes between now and then, just in case anybody needs that information. Bobby, who is out sick, by the way, everybody say a prayer for his health. He hopefully will be back in the next day or two. But he's got Molly DeMatos coming in, who she's been a mega agent out of North Carolina. And she also works for KWRI now and is like the head of K-Score, which is the real estate school, of course. If you've never heard her speak, I've got to listen to her speak multiple times over the years. Super high energy, like you will love her. Is she not quite Jason Abrams? I'm not gonna lie. Like Jason Abrams is that dude, but she's 1B. If he's 1A, she's 1B. Like she will keep you entertained. And I know what she's teaching. Just know a little bit about what she's going to talk about. And it's all about like how we don't get creative in real estate. If we just stick to the basics, we can be as successful as we want. But instead, the natural human tendency is I get bored doing X, so let me go do Y. And she's going to talk about why you just need to stick with X. So make sure you got that on your calendar. Shout out to Bobby for continuing to fill, just rock stars coming in and teaching in our market centers. So also Ignite, new round of Ignite at night, or Ignite After Dark, excuse me, is going on. So you can see we are currently at session 3 will be tonight. Connect on your market. Today is the 5th, right? Yeah. And you can see what all those different sessions are. You can scan the QR code. We'll send this out so you can do it later on if you want. But Ignite is, again, if you're looking to grow your business, highly recommend you attend as many of these as possible. This is the training that I can honestly say, this and Bold are the 2 trainings that helped me launch my real estate career, because there's so much that I thought I knew that I had no clue, that I didn't even know about. So check that out. Again, it is at night. It's completely free is the awesome thing. So all you have to do is tune in and watch while you're cooking dinner or doing anything else that you might be doing. For our GORA board. So this is mostly to the Owensboro people. Amnesty period has started, which means if you didn't put in any one-time showings, new constructions for sale by owners, anything along those lines, you can put them into the MLS and officially get credit through the MLS. So if you choose, and keep in mind that if you have any of those, putting them in does help boost the overall brokerage numbers as well. So it gives you a little something to lean on whenever you go to future listing appointments. no broker open tours, and we have wants and needs. So now I will stop sharing. And if anybody, regardless of location, has a new listing that they want us all to know about, or has a buyer that they need help finding something for, now is the time to put it out there to the world. No new listing? Who's got a new listing? Let's start with that. You're waving. Oh, can you see yourself in the reflection? I can't stand this board, by the way. Just throwing that out there. Like, worst board, worst decision I ever made. 'Cause I think I made that decision to make it blank. JC, did you have some, or are you just waving too? Okay.
Oh, is Molly gonna be on Zoom?
Yes. Yeah, it'll be Zoom. Yeah. Yeah, just our market centers. Like, I mean, just us, this group right here. So, and we will record that and send it out just like we did with Abrams also, just in case y'all have something going on. I need somebody to tell me a new listing. I know I watch it. I know y'all took listings last week.
I have one coming.
Tell them about it.
West, right off 56, so before you get to Whispering Meadows and that neighborhood on the left, it's a 3-car garage with a huge office on top of it. It's gonna need like some money to finish it. It needs a little remodeling. A lot of remodeling was started and not finished.
Is it on land?
No, it's in that neighborhood, so you don't have land, but there's like possible 2 rooms upstairs, 2 rooms in the basement, 2 rooms on the ground floor, 2 full baths. So we're still tweaking the price, but just because it's gonna be a difficult one, kind of the price.
When you say finish, you mean like update, not really?
Updates.
Cause it's got flooring.
It's just a little rough.
It's
Yeah,
rough.
just a little rough.
It's kind of rough, so it'll be like an as-is, but
Is it an estate?
no, but just like hard times and a death and game, just things like that.
All right. There's a
In a few days.
new listing on 816 West 12th Street, which is a remodeled home. Moose and Ivy have that one. 185 is the price on that. So if you have anybody in that price range, it'd be a pretty good find. So check that one out. Anybody else have anything? If
I
not, we'll
do.
wrap up. Oh, go ahead, Sarah.
My Deer Valley listing, 2306 Fieldstone. She made an offer last night on another on her new home, so we really need to get hers pinned. So Deer Valley people, come on.
What's the price on that one?
It's 264.9, but she's I mean, hopefully I can get her done. I mean, she's willing to drop, so.
Sweet. So send your Deer Valley people over there and don't be afraid to make an offer, is what I heard, and then negotiate it out from there.
Right.
By the way, my hair is a hot mess. If you look at this in the black background, that's crazy.
Hey, Matt, Matt, I think
Go ahead, Eric.
I'm gonna have one coming up, Immaculate Home, over off Byers Avenue. It's a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, needs no work, move in ready. I may have that thing listed this week. What you see?
Do you know the price on that yet, or are you still working on it?
They're wanting to hit that 3-ish mark. I mentioned yesterday afternoon, let me do some comparatives and see if I think that's probably about right, but
Okay.
I'm gonna come to you later and make sure I do them things right. They're
Yeah, give me a shout. I'll help you.
parents died recently and they're just ready to move. So
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Anybody else have anything? Couple of good listings. All
hey,
right.
if anybody,
Well-
anybody's looking for got a buyer in that area, let me know because it could happen even quicker.
That was Eric Schwartz, by the way. I don't know if y'all saw who was talking, but and then what was I gonna say? Oh, roughly 14 days left to get something under contract this year and still get paid. So just wanted to throw that out there. I'm using November 21st is my cutoff date, meaning anything you put in contract after November 21st, due to the holidays and all of that, there's a decent chance it's not going to close till after January 1. So everybody who's still trying to make some money this year to set themselves up or their family up for a really great Christmas, you have roughly 2 weeks left. So go hard, use that as motivation or use any other motivation you have. Most agents, once the time changes, kind of steps back and was like, hey, time to relax, especially if they've hit their goals already. You'll see a lot of people, they quit lead generating for some reason. What I'm going to encourage you to do is go harder now than ever for two reasons. Number one, you got 2 weeks to still get paid this year, but most importantly, everything you're doing right now is setting up your first quarter. If you take your foot off the gas, then you try to reapply it January 1, you're going to have a 30 to 60 day lag period where you're not going to do nearly as much business, and you're setting yourself up to not be able to hit your goals next year. So while I'm all for spending time with family during the holidays, it's not quite the holidays yet. Let's continue to push, continue to make your contacts, talk to your sphere of influence, ask for referrals, find them motivated, and let's go out and make the next 2 weeks our best 2 weeks of the year. That's all I got for you. Appreciate you spending some time with us, and we'll do it again next week. See ya.